Hello, hello, hello. It's another Saturday, a spring Saturday, I might add. So I'm just going to give people a minute to join. I'm too excited for today. I'm super, super excited. Okay, and the first person to join is actually my guest. Woo. Okay, I'm going to calm myself down now. I'm too excited. Woohoo!
Sound check, sound check. Can you hear me?
Sound check a little bit funny.
I was moving my phone. It's okay. It's steady now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So I
Clear?
want to hear from other people who are on if they can hear you, can hear both of us.
All right.
It would be good if they can hear us. Okay.
All
So I
right. We're
think
good.
I think we can we they can hear us. So thank you,
Next.
thank you, thank you. Okay, I see Jackie has joined for the first time with no beef. So hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just gonna give people a couple of seconds. I'm feeling rather good today because spring has finally sprung here in Toronto. We actually got up to 20 degrees a couple
Nice.
of days ago. So, brought out my spring wear, feeling good, trying to look good too. Yeah, so I'm kind of upbeat today. Super excited.
That is fantastic. You look beautiful. I should add. You look like spring. You're springing forward. Today is also an amazing day for us. I'm so excited. My mom turned 80 last week. And so we're in Dallas right now, a whole bunch of family members all staying in one house, one Airbnb house.
Wow, that's
Oh my
pretty
God.
awesome. Well, I
It's
wish I could be
phenomenal.
there, but we'll just blame COVID for now. That's fine. Okay, Jackie's saying lie a second time. Okay, second time. Last time you were on for like 10 minutes. Okay, I forgive you. Okay, well, it's 12 o'clock, so we're going to get started. Welcome and hello, everyone. Welcome to I Rise Conversations with Joan. As usual, these are just open conversations, no script. We just say it as we feel, however, whatever we think, we just say it. And the goal is really to share some stories and also hopefully inspire one or two people. So as usual, most of the topics are based on my book. So if you haven't bought the book, go buy the book. Hello, go buy the book. It's available on Amazon and in bookstores in Nigeria. So title is I Rise, the 10 Secrets to Getting Up When Life Knocks You Down by me. Yours sincerely, Joan. Okay, so today I have with us Kingsley. Kingsley is a master strategist on everything under the hot sun. One of my personal mentors. You know those people that are like, I want to be like him when I grow up. Yep, that's who you are to me. I want to be like you when I grow up because I know.
Oh, thank you very much.
So when I grow up. So today, we're going to be talking about spirituality, and a lot of people, when they hear that word spirituality, is like woo woo woo, all this woo woo stuff. People don't want to get involved because most times people don't even understand what it is. And some religions have taught people not to even question these things or even think about it. So people just, I don't want to know, I don't want to hear, I'm comfortable in my ignorance. So anyway, before we get started on that, I'm just going to hand it off to you, Kingsley, if you can briefly introduce yourself to us.
Well, Kingsley Ofor, born and raised in the most phenomenal country in the world called Nigeria. Some of you may have heard of it, some have not, but that's the best place to be. Anyways, my journey started in here in the US. I've been out here 26 years, most of my adult life. It's a long, really, really long time. So now this is so I think I have two homes now. Nigeria's home, the US is home, but phenomenal. But anyway, since I came to America, life has been amazing. Great opportunities. I started out, like everyone else, college, went to school, got an economics degree, never really did anything with economics degree. Went ahead, started looking for jobs in sales. Someone said I had the gift of the garb. I like to yarn.
You do, but okay.
So I did a little bit of that. I sold products, all kinds of products, from selling, used cars. I was that used car salesman back in the days when I first started. And then we went into technology. And that was where things started to change. And kind of, I worked with this company, a great company called Infusionsoft for a few years. And I think that was kind of where I started, getting the idea of this spiritual journey. Because the company was so focused on empowering its employees and helping people chase their dreams and all that. And I wasn't born into that, the world of dreams and all that. So,
we were not allowed to have dreams. You were
know,
told what to do.
You
This is
know?
your dream. You're a doctor. Go do it.
You know? Exactly. And it was one of those things. It's like going to be doctor, engineer, whatever. And if you weren't one of those things, then you failed. And I was one of those people that felt that since I didn't have I wasn't going to be a doctor or an engineer, I felt a little bit like a failure. I'll be honest with you. Like I wasn't going to measure up to the rest of my numbers and stuff.
I feel you. Okay, cool. So that's exciting. So your journey started a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and my mom is saying, "Oh, okay, well, yeah, you wanted us to be doctors. Be honest, doctors, lawyers, engineer, whether we have the brain for it or not, you know. But at the end of the day, we're successful. I think that's what matters.
That's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal. Exactly.
And that was back in the days. This is 2021, so all is forgiven. Okay, so spirituality. So a lot of people, and I remember when I started my journey as well, all I knew growing up was religion. And, you know, people kind of mistook the two. You know, they would use both interchangeably. Oh, I'm spiritual, or I'm religious. How would you define or differentiate the two in your words?
Yeah, absolutely. So even most Nigerians were born into religious families. I was born into a very religious family, and I was very religious myself, you know, for most of my life. I was in the choir and all that. You know, I was at church 3-4 times a week. Not that there's anything wrong with being at church, but I was raised very religious. I didn't know what spirituality was until my adulthood, really, until this journey started when I, started chasing dreams. But spirituality and religion are two things that are very, very different, but most people kind of mix them up. Religion has to do with more of a belief system that has practices for a group of people or a community of people. You know, it's like a lifestyle. They all believe the same things. They believe a higher, being, in some type of higher, spiritual being, and they all act together. Spirituality is totally different. Spirituality is individual. It's your journey searching for what I call the 2 P's: peace and purpose. Peace and purpose. So you can kind of say that in your journey of spirituality, religion could be a part of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Spirituality is like this all-enhancing thing, because it's a personal walk. And then religion is something that you can do with a group of people. That's how I see the difference.
Okay, so that's an interesting way to put it. So, just to kind of rephrase what you're saying. So the goal of religion is really to get you to spirituality. It's just one path that can get you to spirituality, but religion is not the end goal.
Not the end goal. But most people believe that it's the end goal. And that's the indoctrination that I also came up with, growing up, is I felt so committed to the religion that it didn't even matter what I wanted personally. So, you live with a lot of anxieties, a lot of questions, a lot of doubts. And, there are no answers except for the higher authorities within the church. But you know what all those answers are? It's the same thing that leaves you still feeling anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that religion has done, is put all this hierarchy, even though most religions teach that we're equals, we all have the same access, but somehow there's all these hierarchies where you need to go to this person to intercede for you or to explain things to you. But anyway, this is not about what is good or bad. It's about, the differences between religion and spirituality. And, at the end of the day, everyone is free to choose their journey.
Absolutely.
And one thing I've seen, because growing up, I didn't know better. For me, it was just about religion, like you and most people as well. And then I think I hit maybe just before I hit 40.
Yeah.
Don't judge my age. Just before I hit 40, I think I started to feel that anxiousness within my spirit. Okay, there's got to be more. This cannot be it. The world started to look like a movie, and we were just actors in this fake world. Let me call it that.
Yes.
And so I started to have a lot of, anxiousness within me. A lot of questions started to come up. I started to wonder, is this really it? Is come, work, die? Is this really it? Isn't there more to life? And I think that was when I really started to seek for answers.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, when I was growing up, actually, as a child, my mom had this book. I've never told her this story before, but the book was called, I think it was called The Light of Truth, something like that. I think maybe a grill message book. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I remember as a child, that big book, and I flipped through it then as a kid, and I was like, what is all the woo-woo stuff? Okay, whatever, what? But that always stuck with me. I've never seen that book ever again.
Yeah.
But I never forgot the name, the Light of Truth. And for me, that's what this journey has been about, seeking the truth. It's not about what you've been told or what you've been handed down, or, you know, all these laws and principles and, you know, whatever it is that religion has tried to do to us. It's about really finding the truth and seeking that truth. The question now I have for you is, I started searching for this truth at almost 40. And I find that most people, it's the same for them. It's usually when they start to hit that midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis,
they're like,
man.
oh, you're just tired with life. You're like, I'm just tired. Something's got to change, or else I'm going to jump. You know, most people, it's usually at that point where, you know, they have no other choice. Like, everything else has failed. Or you're just at that point in your life, maybe you're on your deathbed, or you're getting old, and you're like, okay, what's happening? What next? You know, what was it for you that triggered this journey?
Pretty much the same thing in my 30s, but mine had some to do with health also. You know, so in my 30s, late 30s, you know, I'm diabetic, high blood pressure, ADD. Well, ADD is a good thing, but ADD, all these different things going on in my life, you know. Then, you know, married, kids, you know, there's work and all that. I was at a place in life where I just was not happy. I had created a mask to the world that made it look like we had the perfect family and life was good and all that. And I think that was even wearing me down even more, because I just didn't feel authentic or original. You know, I'm turning 36 years old. You know, my blood pressure is like 170 over 150. I'm feeling like I'm going to die anytime. My dad had passed with diabetes. My eldest brother had passed and all that. Just things were just not going well in my life. And I wanted to get to a point in life where I had some sort of independence and control of my own life. And so I started with that. My spirituality, I ran into that by accident, really, because what I was learning was how to breathe properly. And I was trying to, you know, I would control my breathing because my breathing was very, very fast paced. And I realized that had a lot to do with my composure, right? So my composure was kind of off. And in starting to learn how to breathe, I started realizing that, well, this might be the thing they call meditation. You know, you're breathing properly, you're getting enough oxygen in the head and all that. I start finding out that my decisions are getting better, things are getting a little clearer. You know, questions that I've been asking that I would normally go and seek, you know, an authority figure, somehow I would get the answer, you know, by myself, like original knowledge coming to me. So I kept on doing that, and I started preaching that. I didn't even know it was spirituality at the time. I didn't think about it as spirituality. I just thought I was living better. I was eating better. I was trying to get healthy. I was trying to do the right things at home, be a better husband, be a better father, be, you know, and all that. It's all about increasing and self-development. And then somehow I started finding peace. And within that peace, spirituality came along.
Wow. Yeah, like as you were just reading out that list of, you know, some of the benefits of spirituality, and for you, you got lucky. Because for some people, they get into this journey, it takes them years to start to achieve some of those benefits. But, you know, like you said, just having that mental clarity, breathing properly, it starts to affect your health. You're healthier, you feel more energized, you're more creative, you know, you want to be better. Like, you start looking for how to be better. You know, you become a nicer, kinder person to the world. Like, absolutely. You start to see yourself as an extension of other people as opposed to a separate being, you know. And for me, I had to do a lot of meditation to get to that point. But, you know, we'll get into some of the core things that meditation and spirituality in general can help people achieve. But I want to step back a little bit. I remember maybe I don't remember, maybe like 10 years ago, I watched the movie The Secret. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Secret. I saw it about 10 years ago, and I was like, fiction. You know, so I just watched it. I was like, oh, what am I supposed to do with this stuff? Okay, whatever, who cares? You know, I watched it like it was a movie. So it meant nothing to me at that point. And then when I started my journey a couple of years ago, I watched it again, and I was like, is this the same movie? Like, whoa. So you know, I became a little bit afraid because, again, human beings, what we don't understand, we're fearful of. You know, we just like, okay, maybe this is, you know, all these things that, you know, hocus pocus type of things. This is all magic. I mean, maybe I don't even want to know, you know, just be comfortable in this, my ignorance, and not know. But I couldn't, because I had awakened something inside of me, and I wanted the knowledge. I wanted to know more, you know. So The Secret really brought spirituality to the mainstream. And the only thing people took out of The Secret was really the law of attraction. You could get anything you want. You'd be like, I could get it now. Magic wand. I can get anything I want. but we both know that it's not automatic. It doesn't really work that way. But then another series that came out recently, Behind Her Eyes, and is all about astral travel and stuff. And people like, it was a hit series, and people were like, "Oh my god, it's so great, so great!" But towards the end, when they revealed that it was astral travel, and people were like, "Okay, another hocus pocus, woo woo stuff. This is not real, this is fiction," So I feel like spirituality is gradually coming out. It's coming into the mainstream media so that people can be more aware. I don't want to say use the word awaken, because it takes a little bit more to be more awakened. So, they've been talking about this, because the moment you start to look for this information, you find out that it's everywhere. Like, I know when I started to Google, I was like, okay, well, everybody knows about this stuff. Where have I been? It's everywhere. What is stopping people from getting this knowledge and imbibing some of these principles that can help people live an effortless life?
Routine. It's what we've learned. It's the indoctrination. People, I believe that within each person's soul, the soul rebels. The soul knows that there's something, right? Mm-hmm. Something out there. We just don't exactly know what it is. It's scary to step away from what you already know. And that's why these, law of Behind the Eyes and The Secret were very important. That was a turning point for me when I watched The Secret. In my walk, I think that was about the point that I realized that my breathing wasn't just breathing, that I was actually meditation. And once you start practicing that, see, this is the amazing thing about where we live. It's no longer in your control whether good things manifest in your life or not. The universe really does take over. It really does. I can't explain it. So when we talk about like the law of attraction, all the law of attraction is it's that thing that allows you get whatever it is that you desire, right? Because you're part of a network, whether you like it or not. The world is a network, and each person serves as like a little source code within that network, right? Everyone has a little bit of originality, and because you're part of that network, it's a magnetic, very, 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 very strong and powerful power that each person has. Right? All we have to do, religion tells you believe, they tell you have faith, they tell you use all these different things so that you can, what I call, let go. Let go of what you thought you knew. Let go of the past. Let go of the ego. Let go of the fears. Let go of the pain. Let go. Just submit to the belief that the world is yours. And if you want something, you go after it. And manifestation simply is action. That's really all it is. You take action in the right direction, and you'll see that you'll start touching lives, and one begets the next.
Like, I feel like breaking out into a dance, but like, people don't understand the enormity of the things that you're saying. But you said a lot, and people just commenting like fear of what people will say. That's what holds people back. Absolutely. But also, I think, understanding what it is. People think it's so difficult. Like, you just explained the law of attraction, like it's getting what you want, setting the right intention, and just manifesting it. But like, religion teaches the same thing, but I think what's missing in religion is the how. So it says have faith, believe, you already have it. How? Okay, how? How? Like how? And I think that's where spirituality is a little bit more practical, because you have all these practices that can help you to really start to achieve and get all the things that you really desire. And so I want to say it's about letting go. Exactly. Let go, surrender. Stop trying to control everything. Let your ego go.
Yes, that's what it is. And I tell my kids, I say that, because I try to teach them this spiritual walk also. What I tell them is breathing and meditation. I kind of tell, they go hand in hand. It's the same thing. I'm like, just breathe slowly, take your time. And the submission in breathing is such that you're focused completely on making each breath as perfect as possible. If you're focused on making each breath as perfect as possible, your brain is no longer thinking about other things. That's the new distraction. So then it deletes all the other content that's been distracting you, your bills, your kids, your health, your whatever it is. Now all you're thinking about is that breath. That breath is what they call the breath of God, the breath of life, the breath of whatever it is. So now you're completely focused and immersed in that breath, and the next breath, and the next breath. At that point, you see that you realize that there becomes a sense of clarity that comes. You'll answer questions that have been nagging you for years. I'm telling you, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Answers will come to you in that moment. Now, once the answers come to you, you realize that you're able to do something about it because now you know that you have the power. And that's the power of spirituality, right? So now you say that, or people say with spirituality, I can see the future. It's not so much that you can see the future, it's that life has become so clear, you can make a plan and you know that you can act on that plan. And if you're acting on the plan, that's the future is going to happen.
Okay, so be present. So, you know, that whole concept about focusing on your breath, because a lot of times your mind can only exist in the past and in the future. So if you think about, you know, what was I just thinking about now? It's obviously something in the past, something that happened yesterday or last week. Oh my God, I should have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Or you're thinking about, oh, what's going to happen tomorrow? Oh, my bills are coming. So we're constantly, you know, moving between thinking about the future and worrying about the past that we can't even change. And I think what you're trying to say to us is it's about being present, you know, focusing on your breath. And that's why they say the pathway to meditation is the breath, because once you can focus on your breath and really be conscious that you're breathing in and breathing out, you will find that those thoughts, the past and the future thoughts, kind of just go away. So now you're able to be in the present. And once you're in the present, you're at that level of creativity where all the answers start to flow. So rather than sitting down all night and worrying, hey, God, how am I going to fix this? What am I going to think about that? You just be present and you find that all the answers start to come. And, you know, and so I like what you said. It's not about thinking that, oh, now I can see the future and I can see everything. No, it's about once you're in that state, you kind of just know what your next move is because you have the clarity. You're present, you have the clarity. It's like, okay, this is my next move. And you're like, okay, I got it. And it's with that confidence because you know that all your steps are ordained, like the Bible also teaches. Yep. You're not afraid. You're not fearful. Yep. So it's not fast pray or you're constantly thinking about it, worrying, hey, maybe if I call 50,000 people, maybe if I... No, just be still. Just go with it. Focus on your breath. Yes. And the answers will come to you.
And the answers will come. And here's the thing, right? So when I talk to a lot of folks who are religious, I find myself counseling religious people saying that, listen, when you're praying actively and speaking out prayer, it's awesome because you're specifically asking for things. And that's part of manifestation, you know, and all that. You got to speak it. However, that can also be a distraction because you also need to listen. It's not us just asking the universe or God or whatever it is. You got to listen so that you know what direction that you want to go in. So even in that prayer, that's why they say prayer and meditation. They didn't call them the same thing. But you pray and then you listen and you stay quiet. Many of us today, if we stay quiet, we get bored. You know, we try to breathe, we try to meditate for 2 minutes and we like, oh, what am I doing? I don't want to do that.
What am I going to eat tomorrow? What did I eat last week? Oh, I should have had that. Oh, I should have called this. I'm going to call this. The mind.
The mind. And when I started with meditations, I would meditate 5 minutes at a time. Then it went to 10 minutes. Now I could be in a meditative space for 2 hours, happily. 2 hours. I'm looking for another hour. You know, I mean, my kids are coming, Dad, you always do. And I'm like, yeah, you know, whatnot. But it's fun. It's fun. It makes you feel peaceful. But then most importantly,
and so you just said that.
One with the world. Absolutely. You become one with the world. You understand that the world is a network. No, there's no different person. You and me, we're all of the same. We're the same. I will never wish you anything bad because just the thought of wishing you something bad and manifesting something bad.
So, just on what you just said, the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Because people think if I pray for something, if I, you know, what, so the law of attraction is not so much what you say, what your prayer points are. It's really what you're thinking, your thoughts. So just like you just said, if you're thinking negative thoughts towards someone else, you're going to attract negative things.
Yeah.
It's all about what you focus on. So if you focus on the negatives, that's all you keep getting. If you're looking for a job and all you're saying is, I don't want a job where I have a bad boss. I don't want a job that's what you're going to get because you're focused on having a bad boss or focusing on a job where you need to work weekends and overtime and stress yourself and kill yourself. We need to learn to focus on what you want.
Yes.
Because you will manifest whatever you focus on, whether it's good or bad. Pray all you want.
And let me say something so amazing to what you're saying, right? Yeah, about that bad boss. It's not even that the boss is a bad boss. the person, because that's your expectation, any boss you get will be a bad boss. You make the boss a bad boss because you've already created that. That's your expectation. That's all you want.
It reminds me of a conversation I had with my mom over Christmas about, good and evil.
Yeah.
And the truth, just exactly what you said. We human beings are the ones that have labeled this is good and this is bad.
Yes.
So if you label something bad, you're going to keep attracting the bad things.
You'll continue attracting the bad things.
So it's about consciously. So again, be conscious. Exactly. Since you just said it, be conscious of what your thoughts are. You can't control all your thoughts, but over time, the more you're present, because you have to be present, which is focus on your breath. If you haven't learned that thing, learn it now. Focus on your breathing so that you're conscious of your thoughts. Your thoughts are in the present, and make sure that your thoughts are positive ones. Focus on the things that you want. So when you say things in the negative, you attract those things. So whatever you focus on, good or bad, you attract. So never say, oh, I want, if you want I don't want a husband that, cheats on me. That's what you're going to get. So always say what it is that you want. Focus on the positives, not what you don't want. Phew. So I hope you guys are taking notes, because, man, this is what people go to spiritual school for years to learn. Yeah. So my mom has just mentioned the word enlightenment. So in my still very elementary knowledge of spirituality, I believe that there's two levels. There's the awakening. So you say you're awakened, and then there's the enlightenment, which is like, we can only hope to get there. For me, I think that's the end goal, and that should be the end goal of any human living on this planet. Yep. What do you think? What's the difference? Like, what is awakened and what's enlightened? And how do people even achieve these things?
You awaken into enlightenment. Enlightenment never ends. It's not a destination. You're never going to be enlightened. It's enlightening. You just continue being enlightened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then the awakening is the point when you realize that there's an old you. Because where there's the physical and then there's the spiritual that's within us, right? Many times the way we're raised with religion and all that, we haven't really taken ownership of the spiritual. We take ownership of the physical because that's what we see every day. That's who we are. We live it ourselves and our physical. Mm-hmm. When you go on that spiritual journey, and when you get to the point actually that you realize that you are more of the thing that's inside, the spirit, than what's on the outside. That's the awakening. Right? And then the enlightenment is when you now start developing that on that. Mm-hmm. So you now start getting more and more enlightened around that.
Okay. So for a lot of people, like for me, it was when I was getting older, I was like, there's got to be more. There's something inside of me that's like, this is not it. Nah. This is not the real you. This is just the physical. There's more to it. So for people who there's nothing pushing them to become spiritually awakened, yeah. How can they even get started? Like, where do they start from?
I'll be honest with you. This is what for folks who have been down this journey. What we say is, let sleeping dogs lie. If it's not your time to wake, you don't need to wake up, because it's dangerous to go and start preaching or talking to people who are not awoken in any way, shape, or form about stuff like that. Remember, we said that it's a personal journey, right? So spirituality is a personal thing. If a person hasn't gotten to the point of that personal search, then there's no point bringing it up, because they're not woke. They're not trying to wake because they think they're awake, and they'll see you as crazy. There's a major conflict. Yeah, so
but you're asleep. Yeah. I'm asleep. Oh my God. So Jackie says, staying focused on the positive. This is where the state of mind and company you keep can be an enabler or an impeder. Absolutely. The company you keep, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so what you're saying is, when the student is ready, the master will arrive. So until then, please, yes, enjoy your sleep and slumber.
Enjoy your sleep and slumber, for real. Like, enjoy it. And then you'll realize if it comes to the midlife crisis time or whatever it is, or when you're older, every human being comes at a different point or finds that spiritual journey at a different point. But it's the rebellion inside that's within that causes it. It's like, I'm not happy. I know I'm not happy. I know life has dealt me blows that I don't deserve. Regardless of church, religion, this section, or whatever it is, I'm not happy and I want to be happy, and I think I can do something about it. I can do something about it. Then you get to the point that I know I can do something about it. And then when you get to the knowing, then that's it. That's where the journey begins, right? So now I know. Then you're searching. Then you realize that the friends that you have and the company that you keep needs to change. Then you realize that all those chat groups that you're on, you got to get off it. Then you realize that social media is crazy. Then you realize that the news is all lies. Then you start realizing all these things about life. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to be part of this anymore. I just want to be easy. You just want to start chasing that journey.
Yeah, just one piece. Ah, wow, this is so exciting for me. Anyway, wow. So good. Okay, so another lesson. Jackie's saying only the awakened can be discussed with. Absolutely, because they will call you crazy.
They will call you crazy. They can kill you. They can hang you.
They can hang you. Yeah. No, I have a friend who was awakened. Like she was from the Grail Message. So I think they've all been on this spiritual path for a while, and so she was way ahead. And I remember back in the days, I look at her like, what is she talking about? Because she's like, oh, I will manifest this. I'm like, man, what? I into some voodoo stuff. What do I manifest? But anyway, hopefully, yeah, psycho, exactly. They think you're crazy. They're like, they've taken this one. This one is lost. But it is what it is. When people are ready, like Tutu said, when the universe is ready, that hunger inside of you will be awakened. Okay, so for those who are having those thoughts already and they're thinking, okay, maybe this life as it is, I'm not happy, there's got to be more, I want to get started, where can they reach out for help? Because let's be honest, I was doing a quick research. I was like, oh, let me see, because I know that most successful people in the world meditate. I know that for a fact. Name them, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, like a lot of people, but they're all in the Western world.
Yeah.
Where we're from, you have this kind of conversation there. They're like, okay, we need to go and bind and cast out some demons from this one. So some people might already be having something inside of them starting to stir. How can they get started on their journey? Like, where do they go to for help?
I searched online. I mean, there's so many people talking about awakening and enlightenment, right? Mm. But the thing about knowing and where your journey starts from, whatever books you read, whichever guru you speak with or you subscribe to will tell you the same thing. Go home, lie down on your bed, and breathe. That's the beginning. There's nothing else. It's not an education. It's not a class thing. It's not, no one can teach you. It's a personal thing. So how your spiritual journey takes off, the experience is going to be unique to you. So where does anyone start? Anyone that's on this call right now, where do you start? 5 minutes a day. Dedicate that daily, 7 days a week to breathing. Don't even use the word meditation because that can be scary. Just tell yourself, I want to learn how to breathe better. And I'll tell you why it's important. You'll find out that maybe 70% of people breathe very, very fast or have short breaths.
Yeah.
That's not how to breathe. Yeah. I mean, really and truly, you should be breathing like every breath should take you anywhere between 15 to 20 seconds of breath in and out. So it's a slow process to know. And that's what they call knowing oneself. When you know your breath, you know yourself. If you don't know your breath, you don't know yourself. So that's what they call sleeping. So every day you're acting, but you don't know what's acting. You don't know who's acting. You don't know why it's acting. And that's the beginning. So go home and learn how to breathe. Once you get to the point that you've learned how to breathe, no one will tell you anything. Everything else will be foregone conclusion. You'll choose the guru that you want to speak to, that you feel that you connect better with.
That's right, yeah.
Or not, yeah. So breathing.
Breathe. Okay, so that's where to get started. Start by breathing, controlling your breath, you can't really control your thoughts, but at least try to make sure that your thoughts are not all over the place. Try to be in the present. Ekatoli talks about the power of now, which is all about being present, being aware of being the silent observer. So where the movie starts, who is the observer? So being aware that there's someone else watching, and trying to connect back to that, your true self, because it never left you. That is the truth. It never left you, but as we grow older, the separation just gets wider. Yes. So we don't even remember that inner man that is there, has always been there. We can't hear the voice anymore. And again, Christianity also teaches the same thing, being able to hear that voice. So for me, spirituality is about reconnecting to that inner self and letting that be what guides you, as opposed to this crazy mind that just goes on all over the place, telling us lies every single day, getting us in trouble.
Getting us in trouble, yeah.
Getting us in trouble, So that's why I really like what you said. Don't call it meditation if you don't want to like woo woo. Before people start saying, you say words like universe. Just really start focusing on your breathing. Start with that. And I think once you start to see the benefits, because for me, I used to journal like, the benefits. Like every day it was like magic.
It's like magic.
And and I read somewhere, I said, they said miracles are not miracle that happens every once in 50,000 years. Things that happen every day. So I started to really jot down this supposed miracle. And I was like, before a couple of weeks, I was done with that book. And I was like, wow. So miracles are actually the norm. So once you get into this stuff and you really start to see the results, you'll be like, wow, oh my God, this thing actually does happen. It does work. And I think you just keep getting stronger. Like you said, you'll be attracted to whoever you think your guru is. And you can grow that way spiritually. Wow. Okay, so I think Jackie wants to jump on and say something. So Jackie, come into the room. Come and give us your thoughts about this. Because I know a few years ago we had this conversation and you're like, woo stuff. So Jackie, come and join us and tell us what you're thinking.
Jackie, come on in.
So while she's coming though, what's next for you? Because I know you're into a lot of things. So we're digressing a little bit from spirituality for Jackie to join. What's next? What can the world? Okay, she's here. So let's finish with Jackie, and then we'll jump back into what the world can expect from Queensley.
Jackie the Chrissy.
Because I know you're okay, you need to turn off your phone because now there's a.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I'm going to give Jackie the room for a second. I'm just going to say so you can.
Is that better?
Okay, welcome.
Hello. I didn't get my own invite, so I had to crash Kingsley's session. So, hey.
You're forgiven. So what do you think about all this spirituality stuff, this woo-woo stuff?
No, I don't think it's woo, and I think maybe I was the one that was trying to actually get you into it. But I think the last thing you guys were talking about, I sort of put in the chat, like your focus. Like we are the creators, we are the miracle makers in our lives, and it all comes from you being able to focus. If you put your mind to something, it becomes your reality. And I'll give you a simple example. You want a navy blue, shiny Range Rover, and you start to think about that, and that becomes your focus. As soon as you step on the streets, all you're going to see is navy blue Range Rovers, and you'll be like, what the heck? Where have these cars been all my life? You never noticed them. But because you have tuned into that, I guess, creation, it becomes real for you. And if you continue to focus on it, you will find that the pathways to getting that Range Rover will start to open up. Somebody from a dealership will call you, and it's not that those calls would not have come before, but when they would have called you before, it wouldn't have been in your sight, and it wouldn't have clicked. So you would never have gotten a Range Rover because you hadn't focused on it. It's the same thing with jobs.
To the same frequency. It's actually the law of vibration.
Is vibration.
So once you're on the same vibrational level, the same frequency,
it starts to click.
It starts to click.
When meditation comes in, and call it meditation, call it the ability to silence. I like to have something. I'm not really introvert. I think I am introverted, but I do like my own space, and it's not because I'm trying to be recluse or whatever, but I just want to calm down. And sometimes that's my meditation, where I can then start to focus on my intent. What are my goals? Where do I? And it has to be intentional. So you cannot be 500 goals floating through you're not going to be anywhere. You have to have line of sight and stay on that wavelength, and you'll be surprised that everything will start to fall in place because you've put yourself at that level, you've focused, you've created, and your abundance will be there waiting for you.
Wow. So, I was teaching your mother, thankfully she's on today, about, what you're saying about setting intentions and the answers will come. She thinks that the answers always come from me. I'm not your destiny helper. So she'll be like, oh, I set this intention. I want a new car. John, I want a new car. So yeah, fun of it, but that's how it works, really. You set the intention. You have to be crystal clear on what it is that you want. Be very, very specific and focus on that. And once you can really focus on that, don't start worrying about, okay, maybe I need to go and take a bank loan to buy the car. Maybe I need to. Don't think about the how. Just focus on what it is that you want. Visualize what it is that you want. Then they also say, believe that you can have it or that you have it. Because you're thinking, I can never get, it's beyond me. Well, people will laugh at me. Oh, then you're not going to have it because now your frequency, you're not at the same vibration.
Now there's the negative, so
yes.
Again, it's that positive intent, positive
yes.
thought. As soon as you put a negative, even though it's a negative in aid of your positive, you're now in the negative.
You're now in the negative.
You're putting negativity into creation, and that is what you will get. You will not get the thing you want.
Yes. So setting intentions, staying focused, and making sure that you're focusing on the positive. So exactly what you want and not the negative. And the lines will start to fall into place. Like things you never even thought about. We were kind of wired and trained to answer our own questions. Like you need to solve your own problems for crying out loud. Like you don't have a job, go apply to jobs, But that's not really, this thing really works like magic. If you focus on what it is, rather than focusing on, I don't have a job, how am I going to pay my bills? And you just focus on, I want a job where I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be able to pay all my bills, I'll be able to go on vacation. You will see that you will start to attract those kind of jobs. But most times we're not wired that. We were wired to worry and, cry and think, and maybe we'll start binding all our enemies. We focus on the people that are stopping us from getting what it is that we want. Meanwhile, it has nothing to do with that. The moment you believe that there's some enemies that are stopping you, you've just manifested those enemies. So now they're going to be way more powerful because you've manifested it. And I love what you said. We create our world. That is the truth. There's nothing else happening. You create everything that happens to you. You are responsible for every good, bad, success, failure. You are responsible. You created it.
Yes. And I think the key, and I put this in the chat earlier, this is where, we're all in a growth phase. Some of us have recently awoken or we're on our journey to enlightenment, right? And this is where it's very difficult because we've grown up, believing that, we have to, we have to work to get it, or you still have to
work hard.
You have to work hard.
It's not hard. It's not.
Your hands.
You have to toil.
It's somebody that is giving you. It's not in your control, right? So we've grown up with that. So it's almost like you have to retrain your brain and reverse, and this is where how you surround yourself can help, because even if you're like, okay, I'm focused, I'm going to get this, and you go and somebody's now telling you, my job, this thing didn't happen, and they start feeding you that negativity. It's very easy to get sucked into that, and then you before you know, you're like, yes, so that job that I wanted to get, so am I really going to get it? So that's where knowing, so when you're awakened and when you're in your path to enlightenment, being aware of that and being able to cut those things. I have a friend, I'll call her name Valerie. Valerie takes no prisoners when it comes to cutting.
Cut people up. Cut them up.
You cannot bring that into her vibrations. As soon as you start, she will try to redirect you to positive intent. If you're not,
cut them off. See ya.
Get the heck out. Don't come and put negativity into my own vibrations. So it's that's one thing that you also have to be conscious of, because you might be trying to grow, but others around you could pull you back as well.
Wow, that's awesome. I know for me, for sure, one of the things that started to happen in my life when I started on this journey was, people will be like, Joan, you're so lucky. Because some of the things I do, people think, like, how are you going to do that? It's not me. And I try to tell people, but again, you really, like you said, you can't really have this kind of conversations with people that are not even on that journey. Because you're like, when I wrote my book, and Chichi, who we're going to have on next week, Chichi is my witness. I wrote this book in 7 days. Like 7 days, every day I gave her a chat, and she was like, how are you writing this? I said, I don't know. All I know is I'm channeling, because I had said, you know what? I've tried to do it my way. It wasn't working. That's the human mind. You really working. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to relax into it and just wait for my spirit to tell me what to do. And that's how I wrote the entire book. But people be like, it's not possible, it's not true, oh, you're lucky, oh, you're special, it's because you did this, because you have that, because you know this person. It's none of that. It's what you believe. You can be anything you want to be.
Energy, yes.
Yes. Tuned in. Yeah, Tutu, exactly. Tune in. Even Tutu, when you were looking for a house, you and I had the same conversation. Oh, I can't find a house. Oh, what did I say? Manifest the house you want. You know, just be clear. Say what it is you want. I want a 3-bedroom that has this, that has that. Manifest it. It will show up. I think a couple of days later, she called me. She's like, I found the perfect house. I said, exactly. But you were there, nothing in your hand. I need this, I need that. But anyway, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Jackie. For those of you who don't know, Jackie's my sister. And yes, she's older.
Yes. Older and wiser. And
I don't know about wiser, just older. We're just older. Okay, thank you, Jackie, so much. So Kingsley, wow, this has been so amazing. Too many lessons. Like, I really hope people were taking notes, because this is what people pay a lot of money for. People go years. I know how many personal development workshops I went through to learn some of this stuff. So this is really, really good stuff. Thank you so much. So what can the world expect from you? I'm happy that Deshola just said sure thing, because Deshola and yourself are actually into something really great. Tell us, what's up with you?
For the rest of 21, or what, the rest of life?
21. Let's start with 21.
2021. If you remember, I was talking to you 2020, and I was even making videos about 2021 being the year of blossoming. I don't know if you remember from.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Back then. And I've been saying that, and that's called manifesting, right? 2021, I had swore to myself in 2020 that this year was going to be the year of blossoming. This was going to be the year that everything would happen automatically. This is the year that money would no longer be a problem. This is the year that, all these different things. And that's what has happened. And that's what.
Let me do the Christian way. I receive it.
You claim it. You claim it exactly. You claim it and you receive it. But the thing is that, I'm trying to learn on the financial tip. I'm trying to learn how to not be connected to money for my personal gains any longer. So for the future, and you said earlier on about how you see life like a movie. It's like a script, yeah? That is exactly how I see life. And so the reason I asked you what's the question, is it for the rest of life or 2021, is because I don't even think in terms of 1-year blocks. I think at my dad. I've done a will, and I did a will because I've played my movie till the end, right? I gave myself an 8. I died at 98, and then I played it backwards. So do I know what the future has for me? Yeah, because I'm going to act it. I'm the actor. I'm the producer.
You're the director. You're the producer.
And all that. And as far as I'm concerned, so for children and for all that, I want to build a path, what we're calling the next generational wealth building, right? What we didn't have. So today I spend all my time investing for the future for my kids. So it's 20-year plans and then 50-year plans for their kids' kids.
Wow. Can you adopt me? Can I be your kid?
that's all.
I cannot keep myself.
But the thing is that we want to get to a point where we can transcend money or the pursuit of money, so that we can actually pursue happiness and what it is that we want without the distraction of having to go and start. I know that it may not happen in this generation for a lot of us, but if all of us plan well for our kids, it's cheap to invest now for our kids to be, to not have that problem. Yeah. That challenge.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
The goal of spirit.
People who don't know, you don't even know, man. So where you're thinking is like way beyond. Like, I was thinking 2021. You've oh my God, you've gone like, ugh. That is pretty awesome. So hey, I'm behind you, and I'm open for adoption. If you want to adopt a new kid, I can get a new birth certificate, no doubt.
Oh my God.
So really just to encourage and inspire people, spirituality is scary at first when you first get started, but there's just so much you can benefit from. Like Kingsley has talked on way too many things, even if it's just for the peace, even if it's just learning how to breathe properly, even if it's just for clarity, for the creativity, being able to kind of live life effortlessly, knowing that your next step is guaranteed. You know exactly what the next move is, and you can rest in that. You can have that peace where you're not worried, you're not thinking, you're not racking your brain. You surround yourself with positive energy, like Jackie said. You start to attract the kind of people that are like you and repel the negative ones, let them go away. Like there's just so much, this endless, you didn't even get to talk about the healing power of spirituality. You can heal your body, you know.
I self-heal, so yes, absolutely. But
So
that's a topic for another time.
That's the topic. There's just so much. Like spirituality really excites me. And I just really hope that more people can be awakened to this truth. You know, there's nothing, it's not woo-woo, no. It is how we were created to be. We're just returning back to our true self, the way God really designed us to be, where we're all connected. We can all have all we want. We can get everything we want, you know, live a happy, fulfilled, and peaceful life.
Imagine, just for everyone that's here, just imagine that God created a platform and all of us, millions of people, so what God did, he made a platform. He's sitting down feeling bored. And he's like, how do I have fun with myself? So then he puts himself into a billion people in the world. So we're all God, we're all of God. And that's all it is. We're all one. And that's what the happiness is and beauty of this life.
Wow. Awesome.
God.
So I'm going to have
And the
to
Bible
ask,
says that, by the way.
have you read my book?
I Rise, absolutely. So I Rise, I'll say, let me give you plug, because any life knocks people down. Every human being. If you've never been knocked down by life, you will at some point. It's going to happen.
You're lying.
It has to happen. But
Yeah.
to get up, you need a playbook. When you're not sure where you're going to go in life, you need a playbook. When you're looking for happiness, you need a playbook. When you're looking for satisfaction, fulfillment, wealth, you need a playbook. And that's what I Rise is. That's what it stands for. I Rise. It's all about increase. It's all about development. It's getting better. It's getting to that final place that you always wanted to be, that you knew was yours, regardless of what the world has told you about yourself in the past. So if you haven't bought I Rise and you need that playbook, get it now, today, so that you can start your journey too.
Available on Amazon and in Nigerian bookshops.
Okay, so Jackie, have you read the book?
Of course. What kind of silly question is that?
Okay, so tell us your thoughts. Tell us. I know you read it, like you speed read it. I remember. So tell us.
The same. I should sell the book as well. No, it's a really great book. I think the best part about I Rise is that it leans on personal stories, right? So it's global messages that you might even be attuned to, you sort of know, right? Or you think you know. But when it connects with a real life scenario, it makes it resonate even more. So that's, I guess, the greatest asset that book brings. You know, it ties it to everyday events that you may relate to quite well. So definitely get it. It's a great book. It's a quick read. I mean, I don't know how many pages it is.
168.
Okay, but
Oh,
I
wow,
did like
168.
less than 2 days, and I have kids, and I was busy. So it's so grabbing that you, once you pick it up, it's really hard to put it down. And I was able to get through it pretty quickly. So definitely get the book.
Awesome. Thank you. Zaya is asking me if there's an audiobook. No, I haven't gotten around to recording because I want to do it in my own voice. So I haven't gotten around to recording the audiobook. But soon. Thank you, Kingsley. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you to all my amazing guests for joining us today. I hope you guys were able to learn one or two things. Next week, we have Chinwe, who is going to be talking to us about a multipreneur. And I don't know if that's a term she coined, but I think so, because the moment she said it to me, I was like, sounds like me. So, you know, if you have so many talents and not sure what to do with all these talents and it's driving you crazy, you want to join us next week to hear more about the multipreneur and how you can harness all of these your talents to create the life that you want. Thank you, Kingsley. Thank you, Jackie, for joining today. Thank you, everyone else. And do have yourself an amazing weekend. All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Cheers.